Hi, Sleepiest listeners. Hello and welcome. If you're a regular visitor to the Sleepiest app, you would know of me as Mydrim Ballantyne. I'm speaking to you now from my hometown in South Wales, in the UK. It's a sleepy little town known as Port Talbot. It's the hometown of some well-known Welsh actors: Richard Burton, Sir Anthony Hopkins, and Michael Sheen. I've been a regular narrator for Sleepiest for some time now, and the Sleepiest team asked me if I'd do a little piece to camera and to answer a few questions. They asked me if I could quote a fun fact. Now, as I like sayings that I find amusing and that have been attributed to famous people, I'd like to relay something that I was told once, which was attributed to that of Dylan Thomas, another Welshman, well known for his poetry and writing. And he's reputed to have made a statement once he'd read once about the dangers of drinking to excess. And that he decided there and then, after having read that he would give up reading. So, another question that they'd put to me, or a few questions, one of them was, what was my favourite bedtime story when I was growing up? As I'm quite old, listeners, I had to have a think about this. And the only bedtime story that tends to have stuck in my mind was the bedtime story about the boy who'd cried wolf. And I guess it's a tale with a moral to it, and that's the only one that sticks in my mind particularly, the boy who cried wolf. I was also asked what is my miracle cure for falling asleep. Don't think I've got one really. Some advice maybe, that if you've done a good day's work, a hard day's work, and achieved something and done the work particularly well, that always helps to give you a restful night. And also not to try and worry about anything that you can't do anything about, particularly at that time of night when you're trying to get to sleep. If that fails, put your mind to trying to think of some good that you can do for a friend or a neighbour, or somebody in need anyway. And if that fails, then you can resort obviously to using Sleepiest app, which helps a lot of people get to sleep apparently. Particularly if you listen to me, because I've been told that I'm that boring, I could put a hedgehog to sleep for the whole of the winter. Anyway, another question I was asked was, what is the favourite piece that I've narrated for Sleepiest since I've been narrating for them? And I think it might be the last piece that I've done most recently, which was Grandpa's Tales Around the Fireside, which featured a little dog called Dylan. Now, I haven't got a Scooby-Doo where they had that idea from. What do you reckon, Dylan? Say, what do you reckon, Dylan Thomas? Anyway, another question that I was asked was, what was one of my favourite things that I'd achieved in a dream? And being a fan of sci-fi and fantasy, possibly when I helped Jean-Luc Picard fight off the Borg in the Star Trek Enterprise, or from my favourite author, who was well known, Terry Pratchett, wrote the Discworld series, and perhaps when I was helping Corporal Nobby Nobbs of the Night Watch to track down somebody from the Assassin's Guild. Anyway, thank you, Sleepiest team, keep up the good work, and thank you, listeners.